What's the most important job in a warehouse? The first thing that comes to most people's mind is to get the job done. Working in a warehouse environment means you have to hustle. You have to move materials, merchandise, and 1,000 other things. It's a big job and a big responsibility. What about safety? That's of primary importance, and safety means you have to use good judgment and common sense on every job you do. Safety is a responsibility that each and every employee has as a condition of employment. Safety takes an effort on everyone's part. Everyone in the facility must exercise caution and responsibility because each and every person's safety in the warehouse depends upon the cooperation of all persons. Let's take safety responsibility one step further. One of the most common complaints in any warehousing environment is forklifts. Forklift operators drive too fast. They don't pay attention to anyone walking nearby. They just don't seem to care about other people. All these things may be true to a certain degree, depending upon the professionalism of the forklift operators. However, if you were to take a poll of all the forklift operators, here's what they would complain about. People walk in front of us without looking or watching where they're going. Or, people don't consider that we can't always see around corners, and when we honk our horns, no one pays attention to us. So you see, there are two sides to every story. The moral of the story is simply this. Everyone has a responsibility to work and act safely in every job, every day, and it does take effort on everyone's part. Let's take a few minutes to discuss some basic rules that apply to both equipment operators and warehouse personnel. The emphasis is not who's to blame or who's wrong, but on safety. Everyone's safety. Basically, forklift operator rules generally call for pedestrians to have the right-of-way. But forklift operators don't always see pedestrians until it's too late. Common sense and courtesy would have the pedestrians stand aside and give the right-of-way to forklifts. It's easier for a pedestrian to stop than it is for equipment operators. It's just like a pedestrian in a crosswalk on a street. Sure, you have the right-of-way, but that doesn't do you any good if a car runs you over in the crosswalk. When you see a forklift or equipment operator driving backwards, be watchful. The driver may have a blind side and may not be able to see you. If you're not sure the operator sees you, make sure you alert the operator that you're close by. If the equipment is being operated with forks forward, whether it's loaded or empty, stay completely clear of the vehicle. The operator's vision will be obstructed by the mast and the load. What we're doing is simply taking some basic common sense and applying them to safety. Safety for equipment operators and safety for pedestrians who happen to work around moving machinery. Remember, we said it was everyone's responsibility? Safety is a team effort. Fairly simple stuff, such as not standing behind a pallet while the forklift or pallet jack is picking it up. You can never tell when that load may fall or the truck may push the load into you. Certainly, no one would ever walk under or near a raised load. The same safety rules applies to any load carried by a forklift. If the forklift stops suddenly, the load could fall, and if you're in the way, you get clobbered. How about opening truck and trailer doors? Is there ever a problem with a load falling out? Of course there is. Always stand clear and open the doors slowly, as loads inside trucks can shift and cause the load to fall out when the doors are opened. Shipping and receiving docks are very busy places, a lot of work going on, and if you don't belong there, stay away from these areas. If you happen to work in shipping and receiving, you've got to pay extra attention to what's going on all the time. Forklifts and corners or intersections seem to be a problem. Forklift operators should honk their horns when going around corners or aisles to alert anyone that may be working there. Pedestrians or people working should also be alert for forklift operators because forklift operators can't always see or hear someone standing around the corner. It takes both the pedestrian and the forklift operator to prevent accidents and injuries. How about walking through doorways, particularly office doors that open into warehouse traffic aisles? People have a tendency to believe that there's nothing on the other side of the door, but there may be someone or something on the other side. Watch out when walking through doors. Make sure forklift equipment or others are not traveling on the other side. Let's say you're working on one side of a rack and the forklift is on the other side, putting a load in the rack. The best advice is to move away until the forklift has set the load on the rack. The reason for this is the load could hit a pallet or other load on your side of the rack, causing merchandise or other materials to fall directly on you. Don't take the chance. Stand away until the forklift has completed the load. A forklift or equipment operator must never drive up to a pedestrian standing near a wall or other fixed object. Forklift operators know that rule. But pedestrians should also notice what's going on and never get into a situation where you're between a forklift and a wall. Give forklifts and other equipment plenty of space. It's quite easy for a foot to slip off a brake or clutch, or for a hand to hit the wrong lever. No one is perfect, so you have to see what could possibly happen, then take the action to prevent an injury if something goes wrong. How about the electric truck that's supposed to stop when the operator steps off the deadman switch or the spring-loaded platform? Does the truck always stop? No. If the deadman switch is defective, the truck can keep rolling. Don't take the chance that the truck will always stop. How about combustion engines that are parked, but the engine is still running? This shouldn't happen even if it's only going to be for a few minutes and only if the parking brake works. Stay clear. Forklift operators must inspect their vehicle every shift for deficiencies, and if the parking brake doesn't work, then get it repaired before it's used. Pedestrians should never assume the brake works. Stay away from the rear and front of vehicles when their engines are running. No matter what type of equipment you're using, electric, combustion engine, manual pallet jacks, or walkie stackers, it's up to each and every individual, not just equipment operators, but every single individual in the organization to accept the responsibility for safety. Don't rely upon the other person for your safety. Take an active approach to safety by thinking about safety on the job. Look for ways to prevent injuries and expect the unexpected. In a warehousing environment, there's just too much going on to not think about safety. Think about your hands and how to prevent those minor injuries from scrapes, cuts, and splinters from mishandling pallets and other materials. Watch where you walk. Most slips and falls are caused by people not watching where they're going. Pick up paper, cardboard, string, banding materials, even if it's not in your department. If you see water on the floor, report it immediately. Safety means good housekeeping. Think about safety when you're handling batteries or battery charging equipment. Think about improperly stacked materials or how they can fall and cause injury. Think about flammable and combustible materials and how fires can completely devastate a building and the people in it. Don't block exits or exit doors. Learn where fire extinguishers are located and how to use them in case of an emergency. Think about reporting all minor injuries, even if they don't require medical attention. Safety is much more than applying a few rules to a work area. Safety is something that needs to be a part of your job, using good judgment and common sense every day. Safety is your responsibility. All the rules in the world won't do any good without your cooperation. It takes a commitment on everyone's part. Pedestrians, equipment operators, management, supervision, everyone. Take that responsibility and make your workplace and work habits as safe as they can possibly be, and it'll pay big dividends. Thank you.